Hello and welcome to this first look exploring session, our final first look exploring session looking at Lust's Dominion, or the Lascivious Queen, otherwise known as the Spanish Moor's tragedy, or it would have been when it first appeared around 1600 for the Lord Admiral's men at the Rose Theatre. That original text written by Thomas Dekker, William Haughton and John Day, though this text dates from considerably later, so whether adjustments or alterations have occurred, we can't be absolutely certain who the authors probably are for bits of it. It's originally known as the Spanish Moor's Tragedy for a good reason. It is a deeply problematic text. It is incredibly racist all the way through in ways that are deeply uncomfortable. In fact, we're about to hit other elements today which are going to be even more problematic as we go. It also has an underlying level of misogyny as well. So just be warned, there will be racially spun language, and also the readers in the room are chosen at random. We haven't cast the play, we are just assessing the text, how it functions. This isn't an attempt at impersonation of the actual material itself. With all those disclaimers and content warnings, we have this wonderful readers to read from Act 4, Scene 5 to the end of the play, and reading the Lascivious Queen herself, the Queen Mother, is
Lynsey Beauchamp, actor, currently in Kirkcaldy, Scotland.
Reading Mendoza, the Cardinal, is...
Hi, it's Tom from Brighton.
Reading Philip, son to the late king.
Hi, I'm Greg. Oh dear, I don't think this will end well.
Reading Zarack, Hortenzo, Roderigo, and Christofero is...
Liza Graham, in London, and all my little wizards.
Reading Soldier number 1, Alvero, and Isabella is...
Sarah Blake, in Germany.
Reading Soldier number 2, and Eleazar, the title character in the other version of the title, is...
Rachael, actor on the East Coast. It can't end well if it didn't start well.
Yes, and I am your host, Robert Crighton. I'll be reading stage directions and stepping in to read Balthazar as well. So, there's been quite a lot of fighty action in Act 4. We've had full-scale war, we've had one-to-one combat, we've had turns and reversals. Mendoza, who was against Eleazar, who has taken the throne. Mendoza has sort of been brought on side with an uneasy alliance, but Mendoza... Eleazar has his number and has him in his sights, so he's currently thinking of a cunning plan to do the murderiness. Eleazar has organised a reasonable number of murders, including a sniper attack taking out a couple of friars. So this play is going to move fast and do all sorts of, as I say, things. So, Act 4, Scene 5, enter Cardinal Mendoza at one door, Filippo half-armed and 2 soldiers following him with the rest of the armour. Filippo's Philip. The Cardinal, seeing him, turns back again.
Sarah! You! Cardinal! Coward! Run away! So ho ho! What, Cardinal?
I am not for your lure.
Exit Mendoza.
For that then, oh, that it had nailed thy heart up to the pommel to the earth. Come on me. Ah! Spit! And all our swords were royally gilt with blood, when with red sweat that trickled from our wounds we had dearly earned a victory, when hell had from their hinges heaved off her iron gates, to bid the damned Moor and the devils enter, then to lose all, then to sound base retreat. Why, soldiers, ha!
I am glad of it, my lord.
Huh? Glad? Art glad I am dishonoured, that thou and he have me dishonoured?
Why, my lord, I am glad that you so cleanly did come off.
Thou hast a lean face and a carrion heart. A plague on him and thee too. then start then to crack the very heartstrings of our army, to quarter it in pieces. I could tear my hair, and in cursing spend my soul. Cardinal! What? Judas, come, we'll fight till there be left but one. If I be he, I'll die a glorious death.
So will I hope, in my bed.
Will there be but one left, my lord? Why, that's now. For all our fellows are crawled home. Some with one leg, some ne'er an arm. Some with their brains beaten out, and glad they scaped so.
But, my dear countryman, you'll stick to me?
Stick? Aye, my lord. Stick like bandogs till we be pulled off.
That's nobly said. I'll lead you but to death, where I'll have greatest share. We shall win fame for life, and that doth crown a soldier's name.
How? To the death, my lord? Not I, by gad's lid. I have a poor wife and children at home, and if I die, they beg. And do you think I'll see her go up and down the wide universal world?
Every drop of blood which thou shalt lose, coward, I'll give thy wife a wedge of gold.
Hang him, me cock. My lord, arm yourself. I'll fight for you till I have not an eye to see the fire in my touch-hole.
Be thou a king's companion. Thou and I will dare the cardinal and the Moor to fight in single combat. Shall we, huh?
Agreed.
We'll beat 'em to Hellgate. Shall we, huh?
Hell's Gate, somewhat too hot. Porter's a knave. I'd be loath to be damned for my conscience. I'll knock anybody's custard, so I knock not there, my lord. Hell Gates.
The pox upon such slaves.
Hang him, a peasant. My lord, you see I am but a scrag. My lord, my legs are not of the biggest, nor the least, nor the best that ever were stood upon, nor the worst. But they are of God's making, and for your sake, if ever we put our enemies to flight again, by gad's lid, if I run not after them like a tiger, how me?
But wilt thou stand to it ere they fly? Ah, wilt thou?
Will I, quotha? By this hand, and the honour of a soldier.
And by a soldier's honour I will load thee with Spanish pistolet. Have this head, thy face, and all thy body stuck with scars. Why, 'tis a sight more glorious than to see a lady hung with diamonds. If thou lose a hand, I'll send this after. If an arm, I'll lend thee one of mine. Come then, let's fight. A mangled, lame, true soldier is a gem worth Caesar's empire, though fools spurn at them.
Yet, my lord, I have seen lame soldiers not worth the crutches they leant upon. Hands and arms, quoth he. Zoons, not I. I'll double my files or stand sentry or so, but I'll be hanged and quartered before I'll have my members cut off.
And I, too, hold thee there.
Hold you both there, away you rogues, you dirt!
And he beats them both in.
Thus do I tread upon you. Out! Be gone! One valiant is an host. Fight then alone.
Enter Cardinal Mendoza, Alvero, Christofero, and soldiers.
Prince Philip.
For the crown of Spain, come all.
We come in love and peace.
Oh, but come in war. Bring naked swords, not laurel boughs in peace. Plague on your rank peace. Will you fight and cry, down with the law? And then I'm yours. I'll die. I have a heart, 2 arms, a soul, a head. I'll lay that down. I'll venture all's foot. all. Come, tread upon me, so that more may fall.
By heaven, that more shall fall.
Thy hand and thy.
And flings down his weapons.
Give me but half your hearts. You have all mine. By heaven shall he fall.
Yes, upon thee, like to the ruins of a tower, to grind thy body into dust. Traitor and bastard, I do arrest thee of high treason.
Ha! Traitor and bastard! And by thee, my weapons.
Lay hands upon him.
Ah, your best do so.
Alvero, there's the warrant. To your hands, the prisoner is committed. Lords, let's depart. Look to him on your life.
And exeunt Cardinal, etc. Philip and Alvero remain.
Hard, 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 hard.
Tears the warrant.
The devil and his dam, the Moor and my mother. Their warrant I will not obey. Old greybeard, thou shalt not be my jailer. There's no prison, no dungeon deep enough, no grate so strong that can keep in a man so mad with wrong. What? Dost thou weep?
I would fain shed a tear, but from mine eyes so many showers are gone. Grief drinks my tears so fast, that here's not one. You must to prison.
Dost thou speak to me?
You must to prison.
And from thence to death. I thought I should have had a tomb hung round with tattered colours, broken spears. I thought my body should have fallen down full of wounds, but one can kill an emperor, fool. Then why wouldst thou have many? Curse, be mad, and die.
And they exit. So this is concluding the action in Act 4. It all does feel very much that this is flowing straight on from the previous scenes that we did last session, with Philip continuing his scrappy-do. You will fight with me, won't you, men? Everybody else has run away. You will join with me in hand-to-hand combat. And Mendoza just going, I'm not going to fight you. Go away. And you know, and it's just not going to happen. And the soldiers go, you know, they're opinion. Yeah, we'll fight with for you. Yes, to the death. Well, maybe not then. You know, I've got wife and kid. You know, I've got a mortgage. I don't want to be doing this. So yeah, Philip really isn't offering anything to anyone here, is he? It's just like death and destruction. And then of course Mendoza turns up and says, "I'm your friend." And you go, "Oh, great!" He throws his sword away, and then yeah, you're screwed. All set up in the previous session. Rachael.
Yeah, I mean, it was doing this yesterday, I think, with the Queen, where you expect her to, you know, be on the Sun's side, even after she's already, you know, said she would betray them, and it just goes further and further. And even here, where the one soldier, he's like, you know, for every drop of blood you spill, I'll give you gold for it. And then the other soldier takes him up on that. You know, and that it's, they say soldier's honor, and then it's about the money. And then when it's to Hell's Gates, they're like, that's not what this is. You know, that's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so interesting how it takes these concepts, these very lofty concepts, and then it brings them down to a human level in a certain way, and I guess breaks some cliches.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Philip has, you know, boxed himself into a corner in so many different ways, and he's, you know, he's trying to persuade people to do things, and he's just he's just got nothing. And real people just say, no, not doing that. Look, if we rout our enemies, I'm really good at running after people. I'm up for that, my lord. I think there's some really nice, clever bits of logic being played in here, as well as the sort of the general reversals that we keep having. Liza.
Yeah, and I'd add that the Spanishness of this play is unrestrained emotion and uncontrolled reaction. So you see here Philip, whose desire to fight until he can no more is on display. But then you get these soldiers who sound, like many clowns, sound very English and just say, no, who have the sort of rational human response. And it's the whole no Skywalker without a Han Solo thing of, you have Philip as this sort of idealized person waving the red flag atop the barricade, and the soldiers being like, nope, going home now, bye.
Yeah. They're not. There's no joke. And then of course, we have this parley, and he's he's very easily led into this trap. I mean, he's just so easy. We're here in love and peace and fling swords away and clap him in irons, right? Take the idiot away, will you? And it's and poor Alvero, who's just sort of bobbing about in this play, isn't he? He's just sort of just everyone just gives him the rubbish jobs, and it's just he's just so depressed.
Yeah, I mean, the king's deceased wife was Alvero's daughter, so by default, he holds a position of honor, but Eleazar knows that Alvero is no friend to him, so who knows?
Yeah. Anyway, that was Act 4. We've closed the curtain on that, and it does feel very acty. Like each individual act is a big unit of action. That the scenes within acts are just sort of markers, but they're not really separate units of action. That each act is so it's really going with the act structure, or it seems to be anyway. I could be wrong on that. So let's dive into Act 5 and let this flow along for a bit and see where the action's going to take us. Enter, for Act 5, Scene 1, enter Roderigo and Christofero, two bareheaded before them. Cardinal Mendoza alone. Zarack and Balthazar bearing the crown on a cushion. Eleazar next. Queen Mother after him. Other lords after her. Alvero, sad, meets them. And Hortenzo is probably about somewhere.
Alvero, 'tis the pleasure of the king, of the queen mother, and these honoured states, to ease you of Filippo. There's a warrant sent to remove him to a stronger guard.
I thank you. You shall rid me of much care.
Sit down and take your place.
If I might have the place I like best, it should be my grave.
Sits down. The Moors stand aside with the crown. Eleazar, rising, takes it.
Stand and voice reach. Away.
We are gone. Exeunt Zarack and Balthazar.
Princes of Spain, if in this royal court there sits a man that, having laid his hold so fast on such a jewel, and dare wear it in the contempt of envy, as I dare, yet uncompelled, as freely as poor pilgrims bestow their prayers, would give such wealth away. Let such a man step forth. What? Do none rise? No, now, for kings indeed are deities, and who do not, as the sun, in brightness shine. To be the greatest is to be divine. Who, among millions, would not be the mightiest, to sit in godlike state, to have all eyes dazzled with admiration, and all tongues shouting loud prayers, to rob every heart of love, to have the strength of every arm, a sovereign's name. Why, 'tis a sovereign charm, this glory round about me hath thrown beams. I have stood upon the top of fortune's wheel, and backward turn to the iron screw of fate. The destinies have spun a silken thread about my life, yet, noble Spaniards, see, hoc tantum tanti, thus I cast aside the shape of majesty, and on my knee.
He kneels, the cardinal fetches the crown and sets it on the chair.
To this imperial state lowly resign, this usurpation, wiping off your fears, which stuck so hard upon me. Let a hand, a right and royal hand, take up this wreath and guard it. Right is of itself most strong. No kingdom got by cunning can stand long.
Proceed to the new election of a king.
All together now.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Read.
Stay, peers of Spain. If young Filippo be Philip's son, then he is Philip's heir. Then must his royal name be set in gold. Philip is then the diamond to that ring. But if he be a bastard, here's his seat. For baseness has no gall till it grow great. First, therefore, let him blood, if he must bleed. Yet in what vein you strike him, best take heed. The Portugal's his friend, you saw he came, at holding up a finger, armed. This peace rid hence this dangerous friendship. He's at home. But when he hears that Philip is tied up, yet hears not why, he'll catch occasion's lock, and on that narrow bridge make shift to lead a scrambling army through the heart of Spain. Look taut, being in, he'll hardly out again. Therefore first prove and then proclaim him bastard.
How shall we prove it?
He that put him out to making, I am sure can tell. If not, then she that shapped him can. Here's the Queen Mother, being pricked in conscience, and preferring Spain before her own respect, will name the man. If he be noble and a Spaniard born, he'll hide the parent scars of their infamies with the white hand of marriage. That in time will eat the blemish off. Say, shall it?
No.
No.
Spaniard or Moor, the saucy slave shall die.
Death is too easy for such villainy.
Spaniard or Moor, the saucy slave shall die. I would he might, I know myself am clear, as is the newborn infant. Madame, stand forth. Be bold to speak. Shame in the grave wants sense. Heaven with sin's greatest forfeits can dispense.
Would I were covered with the veil of night. You might not see red shame sit on my cheeks. But being Spain's common safety stands for truth, hiding my weeping eyes, I blush and say, Filippo's father sits here.
Here, name him.
The Lord Mendoza did beget that son. Oh, let not this dishonour further run.
Cardinal Mendoza?
Yes, yes, even he.
Spaniard or Moor, the saucy slave shall die.
I, Philip's father.
And comes down to the rest talk.
Nay, deny me not. Now may a kingdom and my love be got.
Those eyes and tongue bewitch me. Shame lie here, that love has the sweetest taste that is brought dear.
What answers Lord Mendoza to the Queen?
I confess guilty. Philip is my son. Her Majesty hath named the time and place.
To you, but not to us. Go forward, madam.
Within the circle of twice 10 years since, your deceased king made war in Barbary, won Tunis, conquered Fez, and hand to hand slew great Abdullah, king of Fez, and father to that barbarian prince.
I was but young, but now methinks I see my father's wounds. Poor Barbaria, no more.
In absence of my lord, mourning his want, to me alone being in my private walk, I think at Salamanca, yes, 'twas there, enters Mendoza under show of shrift, threatens my death if I denied his lust. In fine, by force he won me to his will. I wept and cried for help, but all in vain. Mendoza there abused the bed of Spain.
Spaniard or Moor, the saucy slave shall die.
Why did you not complain of this vile act?
Alas, I was alone, young, full of fear, bashful and doubtful of my own defame. Knowing King Philip rash and jealous, I hid his sins, thinking to hide my shame.
What says the cardinal?
Such a time there was. 'Tis past. I'll make amends with marriage, and satisfy with trembles, digers, and prayers the offended spirit of the wounded king.
The Queen and they talk.
Spaniard or Moor, the saucy slave shall die. Oh, 'twould seem best it should be thus, Mendoza. She to accuse, I urge, and both conclude your marriage, like a comic interlude. Lords, will you hear this hateful sin confessed, and not impose upon the ravisher death the due punishment? Oh, it must be so.
What does the Queen desire?
Justice, revenge upon vile Mendoza for my ravishment. I kiss the cold earth with my humble knees, from whence I will not rise, till some just hand cast to the ground the traitor cardinal.
Stand forth,
Stand
Mendoza!
forth, Mendoza!
Was your heart so high? Down, lecher. If you will not stand, then lie.
You have betrayed me by too much trust. I never did this deed of rape and lust.
Your tongue confessed it.
True, I was enticed.
Enticed? Do you believe that?
Justice, lords, sentence the cardinal for his hateful sin.
Assemble all the states of Spain, and as they judge, so justice shall be done.
A guard. To prison with the cardinal.
Enter Zarack, Balthazar, and others.
Damned slave, my tongue shall go at liberty to curse thee. Ban that strumpet, dogs, keep off.
Hist, hist, on.
I cannot brook his sight.
You must to prison, and be patient.
Weep'st thou, Alvero, all struck dumb? My fears are that these drops will charge to bloody tears. This woman and this serpent,
Drag him hence.
who dare lays hands on me? Lords of Spain, let your swords hail me. This false queen did lie.
Spaniard or Moor, the saucy slave shall die.
I'll fight thee, damned hellbound, for my life.
Spaniard or Moor, the saucy slave shall die.
I'll prove upon thy head.
The slave shall die.
Lords, stop this villain's throat.
Shall die.
Hear me but speak.
Away.
Words are ill spent where wrong sits judge. You're armed if innocent.
Well then, I must to prison. More or no more. Heavens, thou art just. Prince Philip I betrayed, and now myself fall. Guile with guile is paid.
Exit Mendoza.
Philip being proved a bastard, who shall sit upon this empty throne?
Strumpet. Not you.
Strumpet? And I not sit there? Who shall then?
Down. Back, if she touch it, she'll bewitch the chair. This throne belongs to Isabel the Fair. Bring forth the princess dressed in royal robes, the true effector of Alvero's son, virtuous Hortenzo. Lords, behold your queen.
Sudden reversal. Oh my God! It's somebody else is going to take the throne. Oh, someone we haven't seen since Act 1. Oh no! Well, so the whole thing's a trap. It's a trap. It's Mendoza has laid out his own death warrant by saying that the fated line, Spaniard or Moor, the saucy slave shall die. And Eleazar picks up that baton and just keeps keeping it in the room, just keeping it in the room, just keeping it in the room, keeping it in the room. Oh, it was him! Oh, and the Queen Mother gives a Oscar-winning performance of, oh, all these terrible things happened to me. And that climax there with Eleazar just saying the line again and again, and it's just getting shorter every time. And shall die, away. So it's all play acty stuff. And it's, again, it's all for effect. It's all just constantly aiming for effect. This theatricality of, I won't be king. Look, I will renounce the crown that I've fought lots of battles for, and we'll find another person. Oh, who could it be? And then surprise reversal at the end, because I don't think anyone was expecting, I'm sure we were all expecting him to go, oh, well, I'll just have to take the throne. But no, it brings up Isabel, who, as I say, we haven't seen since the very beginning, who is the last remaining in the room, at least, son of the old King Philip, the sister to the locked up Philip, last chance saloon there. Lots of thoughts potentially from the room. Who wants to leap in? Rachael.
I have been wondering what it is like, what his motivation for a lot of this is, besides the, a lot of the hateful words they've been throwing at him. But the part where they talk, is it the Queen Mother that talks about his father, and her husband going down to Barbary, and fighting, and he's the prince of that country, and killing his father and destroying his country and bringing him back to Spain, either in bondage as a slave or as, some sort of hostage. And this is what drives the revenge plot. I just felt like that was so, it's so, I don't know, it's just like another one of those scenes where there's some emotional thing delivered in such a great artifice.
Other thoughts? Again, it's all effect. It's all theatre, political theatre within theatre. It's all doing stuff. You don't have to have thoughts. We can just move on. Just see if any additional reactions come in there. Everyone's just stumped by the audacity of Eleazar and his cunning, his pure cunningness. Anyway, the scene effectively continues, even though we're going to Act 5, Scene 2, for enter Isabella in royal robes and Hortenzo.
Thou villain, what intendest thou, savage slave?
To advance virtue thus, and thus to tread on lust, on murder, on adultery's head. Look, lords, upon your sovereign Isabel. Though all may doubt the fruits of such a womb, is she not like King Philip? Let her rule.
She rule?
She rule, aye she.
A child to sway an empire? I am her protectress. I'll pour black curses on thy damned head if thou wrongst me. Lords, lords!
Princes of Spain, be deaf, be blind. Hear not, behold her not. She killed my virtuous wife.
He killed your king.
'Twas in my just wrath.
'Twas to get his crown.
His crown, why, here 'tis. Thou slewest my Maria, to have access to my unstained bed.
Oh, heaven!
'Tis true. How often have I stopped thy unchaste songs from passing through mine ears? How oft, when thy luxurious arms have twined about my jetty neck, have I cried out, away, those scalding veins burn me, 'tis true.
Devil, 'tis a lie.
Thou slewest my sweet Maria. Alvero, 'twas thy daughter, 'twas. Hortenzo, she was thy sister. Justice, Isabella. This serpent poisoned thy dear father's bed, setting large horns on his imperial head.
Hear me.
Ah, why?
Madam, you shall be heard before the courts of Spain.
A guard, a guard.
Enter two Moors and others.
A guard? For what? For whom?
To wait on you. So many great sins must not wait with few.
Keep me in prison, dare you, lords?
Oh, no. Were your cause strong, we would not arm you so. But honour fainting need of many hands. Kingdom stands safe when mischief lies in bands. You must to prison.
And exit, thank goodness, really, Alvero because of doubling reasons. Queen Mother, Guard, and Eleazar remain.
Must I? Slave, I'll damn thee ere thou triumphst o'er my grave.
Exit Queen Mother with a guard. Act 5, Scene 3, Eleazar remains.
Do, my jocund spleen. It does, it will, it shall. I have at one throw rifled away the diadem of Spain. 'Tis gone, and there's no more to set but this at all. Then, at this last cast, I'll sweep up my former petty losses, or lose all, like to a desperate gamester.
Enter Zarack.
How? Fast?
Except their bodies turn to airy spirits and fly through windows, they're safe, my lord. If they can eat through locks and bars of iron, they may escape. If not, then not.
Oh, Zarack, wit is a thief. There's pick-lock policy, to whom all doors fly open. Therefore go. In our name charge the keeper to resign his office, and if he have tricks of cruelty, let him bequeath them at his death, or kill him. Turn all thy body into eyes, and watch them. Let those eyes, like fiery comets, sparkle out nothing but the death of kings. And now thus, thou know'st I did invent a torturing iron chain.
Oh, for necks, my lord.
Aye, that. Away, and yoke them. Stay,
Enter Balthazar.
here's Balthazar. Go both. Teach them to preach through an iron pillory. I'll set a net to catch Alvero. Oh, he is old and wise. They are unfit to live that have sharp eyes. Hortenzo, Roderigo, taught, all they have supple knees, sleeked brows, but hearts of gall. The bitterness shall be washed off with blood. Tyrants swim safest in a crimson flood.
I come to tell your grace that Isabella is with Hortenzo arm in arm at hand. Zarack and I may kill them now with ease. It's done, and then 'tis done.
Murder thou the man, and I'll stab her.
No, I'll speed her myself. Arm in arm. So. Look upon this ring. Whoever brings this token to your hands, regard not for what purpose, seize on them, and chain them to the rest. They come. Away. Murder, be proud, and tragedy, laugh on. I'll seek a stage for thee to jet on upon.
Enter Isabella and Hortenzo. Seeing Eleazar, they turn back.
My lord Hortenzo.
Ah, is't you? Trust me, I saw you not.
What makes your grace so sad?
She grieves for the imprisoned queen her mother, and for Filippo, in the sandy heap that wait upon an hour, there are not found so many little bodies as those sighs and tears which she hath every minute spent since her loved brother felt imprisonment.
Pity, great pity. Would it lay in me to give them liberty?
It does.
In me? Free him, your mother queen and cardinal too. In me? Yes, not me. No, no, in you. Yet, for all have my conscience white and pure. Here, madame, take this ring, and if my name can break down castle walls and open gates, take it and dot. Fetch them all forth, and yet 'tis unfit you should go.
That happy office I'll execute myself.
Will you? Would I stood gracious in their sight. Well, go, do what you will, Hortenzo. If this charm unbinds them, here 'tis, lady. You and I, aloof, will follow him, and when we meet, speak for me, for I'll kiss Filippo's feet.
I shall be proud to see all reconciled.
Exit Hortenzo.
Alas, my lord. Why, true. Go, go.
Make haste, dear love.
Hortenzo is a man composed of sweet proportion, has a foot, a leg, a hand, a face, an eye, a which the best, Hortenzo, in the Spanish court. Oh, he's the nonpareil.
Your tongue hath wont to be more sparing in Hortenzo's praise.
Aha! I may curse his praises, rather ban mine own nativity. Why did this colour dart in my flesh so far? Oh, would my face were of Hortenzo's fashion, else would yours were as black as mine is.
Mine like yours. Why?
Hark! I love you. Yes, faith, I said this, I love you. I do. Leave him.
Damnation! Vanish from me.
Coy! Were you as hard as flint, oh, you should yield like softened wax. Were you as pure as fire, I'd touch you. Yes, I'll taint you. See this? I'll bring you to this lure.
If I want Hans to kill myself before thou dost it, do.
I'll cut away your hands. Well, my desire is raging as the sea, and mad as fire. Will you?
Torment me not, good devil.
Will you?
I'll tear mine eyes out if they tempt thy lust.
Do.
Touch me not. These knives...
Kill yourself, because I jest with you. I wrong, Hortenzo. Settle your thoughts. 'Twas but a trick to try that which few women have, true constancy.
If then my speech is taste of gall...
Nay, faith. You are not bitter. No. You should have railed, have spit upon me, spurned me. You're not bitter. Why? Do you think that I would nurse a thought to hurt your honor? If that thought had brains, I'd beat them out. But come, by this Hortenzo is fast.
Fast?
I fast in Philip's arms, wrestling together for the prize of love. By this they're on the way. I'll be your guard. Come, follow me. I'll lead you in the van, where thou shalt see 4 chins upon one chain.
And they exit. So, lots of gambits being set up here, lots of things. And I think Eleazar gives us a really key line here. I'll sweep up my former petty losses or lose all like to a desperate gamester. It's that weird thing. He's just gambling everything. He's just throwing everything up in the air now. And it's like he is just improvising politics a lot of the time. He's got plans, but now he's just going, no, going to go for a break. And so he's tested to see whether he could just marry into the family here on this level, and that's clearly not going to go well. He's got other things. I love the conversation with Zarack. Do you remember when I invented that torture thing? Yeah. It's just...
I love Zarack's. Oh, for necks?
yeah, as opposed to the feet one. Remember the feet one never worked, but the neck one, we never tried the neck one, did we? You know, this is what they do on the weekend. Devising torture implements. Aren't they lovely people? Rachael.
The whole thing with the ring, when he tells Zarack to just kill whoever has it for whatever reason they say they're coming, I think he doesn't even know in that moment who is the one that's going to die. And I think if Hortenzo had said nothing, he just would have given it to Isabel, and that's who would have died, and instead, that whole gambling and the fortune and the wheel and the whatever, he'll take whatever win he can get.
And yeah, because he's leaving himself options and routes. He's gaming the situation because because of course when he's alone with Isabella, she might have said actually fancy some Eleazar action, and that would have solved a lot of his problems, and then he could go down a slightly different path. As it happens, it's not looking good for a lot of people. It's not looking good. But you know what this play's like. Just because they set that scene up, that doesn't mean it's the scene they're going to give you. Other thoughts? Sarah?
I can't help but feel that he's gambling in this way, partly out of a sense of he's just too good at this. He's just so good at plotting. All his plots have kind of worked so far. And then when he kind of improvises a plot on the spur of the moment, it works. And it's just like, ha-ha, I've pulled the rug out from underneath them again. And I wonder if there's a thing of like, he's just getting a bit bored. He's just sort of deliberately, he's like, oh, this is no fun. There's no challenge in this anymore. Because, he could have just taken the crown. He could when it was offered to him, and he didn't. And yeah, that thing of like, oh, I'm going to gamble everything now. I have a feeling he's getting a real kick out of this.
It's that gambler's thing of wanting to lose. Actually, maybe that's actually what he really, on some level, wants.
Perhaps. Yeah.
We'll see where that goes, Rachael.
There's the guy Tokugawa Ieyasu, who becomes, I think, like the first shogun or emperor in Japan after they had like 500 years of war or something like that, and the country was divided. He was the reason I say this is because the guy was he was a hostage in his enemy's house, and there was a famous phrase, about cuckoos, where it was like, if you can't make it sing, what do you do? And there were three famous guys, and his was, one of the guys was kill it, the other guy was coax it, but Tokugawa Ieyasu, from a young age, had grown up in his enemy's house, was wait for it. And I wonder if there's this sort of, this endless, meticulous planning of revenge and waiting, because like he wound up taking power after the guy who had held him hostage had died, and his son was in power, and then he killed him and took over. And I'm like getting those vibes, and this guy's very much Eleazar is so planning, and so I think also so filled with the adrenaline of this whole plan finally taking motion.
Any other thoughts before we see where this goes? No. Okay, Act 5, Scene 4. We've heard about some chins upon one chain. Enter Hortenzo, Queen Mother, Cardinal Mendoza and Philip, chained by the necks. Zarack and Balthazar busy about fastening Hortenzo.
You damned ministers of villainy, sworn to damnation by the Book of Hell! You maps of night! You element of devils! Why do you yoke my neck with iron chains?
Many do borrow chains, but you have this gratis for nothing.
Slaves, unbind us.
No.
No.
Exeunt the two Moors.
I am impatient. Veins, why crack you not until your blood into the face of heaven, to make red clouds like ensigns in the sky, displaying a damned tyrant's cruelty? Yet can I laugh in my extremest pangs of blood and spirit, to see the cardinal keep rank with me and my vile mother queen, to see herself where she would have me seen. Ha ha! Good fellowship in faith.
And I can tell true misery loves a companion well.
Oh, thou left'st me to the mercy of a Moor that hath damnation died upon his flesh. 'Twas well. Thou, mother, didst unmotherly betray thy true son to a false bastardy. Thou left'st me then. Now thou art found and stayed, and thou, who didst betray me, art betrayed. A plague upon you all.
Thou cursest them whom I may curse. First I may curse myself, too credulous of loyalty and love. Next may I curse the Moor, more than a devil. And last, thy mother, mother of all evil.
All curses and all crosses light on thee. What need I curse myself when all curse me? I have been deadly impious, I confess. Forgive me, and my sin will seem the less. This heavy chain which now my neck assaults weighs 10 times lighter than my heavy faults.
Hortenzo, I commend myself to thee, thou that art nearest standst furthest off from me.
That mould of hell, that Moor hath chained me here. 'Tis not myself, but Isabella I fear.
Act 5, Scene 5. Enter Eleazar, Isabella, Zarack, and Balthazar.
It's strange. Will not Prince Philip come with Hortenzo?
He swears he'll live and die there.
Marry, and shall. I pray, persuade him, you, to leave the place. A prison? Why, it's hell. Yes, here they be. Ha! They are they, i' faith. See.
Devil,
Moor,
toad,
devil,
Serpent!
Moor.
Oh,
Oh, sweet airs, sweet voices.
Oh, my Hortenzo!
Do not these birds sing sweetly, Isabella? How their spirits would leap aloft in spring, had they their throats at liberty to sing.
damnation dog thee.
Furies follow thee.
Comets confound thee.
and hell swallow thee.
Sweeter and sweeter still. Oh, harmony. Why, there's no music like to misery.
Hast thou betrayed me thus?
Not I.
Sirrah, hedgehog.
I'll hear thee presently.
Hear me then, hellhound. Slaves, unchain my love, or by...
By what? Is't not rare walking here? Methinks this stage shows like a tennis court. Does it not, Isabel? I'll show thee how. Suppose that iron chain to be the line, the prison doors the hazard, and their heads, scarce peeping o'er the line, suppose the balls. Had I a racket now of burnished steel, how smoothly could I bandy every ball over this globe of earth, winset and all.
How brisk the villain jets in villainy.
Braiding, he's proud because he wears a chain. Take it off, Balthazar, and take him hence.
And they unbind him.
And whither then, you dog?
Pity my brother.
Pity him? No. Away.
Aye, come, do come, I pray thee, kill me, come.
I hope to see thy own hands do that office. Down with him.
Is there another hell?
Try, he's gone.
Gone.
So him next, he next, and next him. And then,
Fiend,
Damnation.
Monster of men.
fiend.
why, when, down.
Slave, as thou thrust me down, into this dungeon, so sink thou to hell.
Amen, amen.
Together so, and you.
Oh, pity my Hortenzo.
Farewell, my Isabel, my life. Adieu.
Mischief and horror.
Horror.
Let the Moor
Let the
pursue.
Moor-
Mischief, horror.
Moor.
Concert. That amain. Play that amain. 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 No. So soon fallen asleep. Nay, I'll not lose this music. Sirrah, sirrah, take thou a drum, a trumpet thou, and hark, mad them with villainous sounds.
Rare sport. Let's go.
Exeunt Zarack and Balthazar.
About it, music will do well and woe. How like you this?
Set my Hortenzo free, and I'll like anything.
A fool, a fool. Hortenzo free. Why, look you, he free? No. Then must he marry you. You must be queen. He in a manner king. These dignities, like poison, make men swell. This rat's bane honor. 'Tis so sweet. They'll lick it till all burst. He will be proud. And pride, you know, must fall. Come, come. He shall not. No. 'Tis more meet to keep him down safe standing on his feet.
Eleazar.
Mark, the imperial chair of Spain is now as empty as a miser's alms. Be wise. I yet dare sit in't. It's for you. If you will be for me, there's room for two. Do, meditate, muse on't. It's best for thee to love me, live with me, and lie with me.
Thou know'st I'll first lie in the arms of death. My meditations are how to revenge thy bloody tyrannies. I fear thee not, inhuman slave, but to thy face defy thy lust, thy love, thy barbarous villainy.
And before he can call forth one of his servants, I think we should just take in this scene, because we haven't got stage directions precisely describing the nature of the hole that everyone is being put into. But yeah, there's clearly a hole. They're using some sort of trap and they're flinging people down into it, which is bringing us to sort of all sorts of resonances with other texts. We've got obviously a throne, and Eleazar is sort of sitting there going, "Hey, this throne's quite nice. Would you like to join me here? We could. You can't have it unless I'm here as well." And he's really going full on psychopath here, isn't it? It's just going, oh, the sweet music of them crying out in hatred. Oh, isn't it beautiful? Oh, this concert. He's really, really going off the deep end a bit on being sort of crazy mad kind of dynamic here. It's really, really interesting. I mean, it's all, again, for effect. It's all effect. It's all constantly pushing us. Liza.
Yeah, I mean, Eleazar, at first, the joy of his plotting was how he got people to incriminate themselves in the eyes of everyone. You know, he got the Queen Mother, first of all, to spread rumors that her own son was a bastard, which not only disqualified the son from the throne, but also later on we see disqualified her. He's a little bit less fun now that he doesn't have to plot for anyone else's approval. Like, he's just stuck Hortenzo in jail. He hasn't justified it to the court or to anyone else. He's just stuck him in jail and then brings him out chained to everyone else, and nobody objects, which is part of what living under tyranny does to you. But it also means that his ingenuity is not being tested as hard because he doesn't have to scheme to get people to go along with it.
Because he's basically locked up everybody with any power. I mean, they're all chained together in this game. And once again, Philip remains remarkably consistent in his character. I mean, he's great. He's like, no, I'm not. No, I don't want to be chained with him. It's like, can we have separate chains for different classes, please? Because, I'm sorry, not on my level. I'd like to see the concierge, please, of this particular dungeon. So... I mean, I still sort of can't stand Philip, but I kind of enjoy him. Yeah. Any other thoughts, Sarah?
Yes, he has that great speech though, that tennis court speech. I really enjoyed that. Where he talks about the prison doors that hazard their heads, scarce peeping over the line, suppose the balls. Had I a racket now of burnished steel, how smoothly could I bandy every ball over this globe of earth, wind, set, and all. And it's like he's kind of, yeah, he's not getting the joy from the scheming anymore, but it's like he's got the bit between his teeth and he's got that look in his eye. And I mean, you know, as someone who follows tennis, you see this like towards the end of a match, like a great champion will get that kind of glint in their eye and they just steamroller over everything. And it's like he's got the end in sight and he's just mashing everybody underneath him, quite literally, because he's throwing them into a pit and he's taking great delight in doing it. So it's like I think it's just part of his journey. Like we've had him in stealth mode for most of the play, you know, where he's been scheming, and now he's in the final set and he's going for it.
Yeah, and it's the imagery as well, with the throne and the sitting in the chair. I mean, it's which following immediately after talking about he will be proud and pride you know must fall, and of course he's talking about somebody else, but he's talking about himself. This is the pride before the fall moment, and you know, we see this in certainly in Chester, but you see it in some mystery plays. You know, this is basically how Satan falls. God says, "Don't sit in my chair." Comes back and finds Lucifer sitting in his chair, and he goes, "No, down to hell you go." And there's a pit underneath it, so it's resonating on that sort of level as well of imagery, which is by this point quite out of date in terms of theatrical. But just thinking that there might be just that little rumbling in the background, which I like. Anyway, we paused as Eleazar, having once again been rejected by Isabella. I'm just saying, Isabella, not necessarily a great long-term career move. This, I'm you know, I don't know who's going to survive this play or how, but I'm just saying that's just lowered your odds in the sweepstake there. Anyway, Eleazar reacts to that by saying,
Zarack.
Enter Zarack.
My lord?
Where's Balthazar?
Drumming!
I have made them raven curse, and so guard her. Your court shall be this prison. Guard her, slaves, with open eyes. Defy me, see my veins stuck out, being overheated with my blood, boiling in wrath. I'll tame you.
Do.
I will! And once more fill a kingdom's throne. Spain, I'll new mold thee. I will have a chair made all of dead men's bones, and the ascents shall be the heads of Spaniards set in ranks. I will have Philip's head, Hortenzo's head, Mendoza's head, thy mother's head, and this head that is so cross, I'll have't. The scene wants actors. I'll fetch more and clothe it in rich cothurnal pomp. The tragedy ought to be grave. Graves this shall beautify. More, execute to the life my dread commands. Vengeance, awake. Thou hast much work in hand.
Oh,
And exit Eleazar there, sorry.
I am weary of this office and this life. It is too thirsty, and I would your blood might scape the filling out. By heaven, I swear I scorn these blows and his rebukes to bear.
Oh, Zarack, pity me. I love thee well. Love deserves pity. Pity, Isabel.
What would you have me do?
To kill this Moor.
I'll cast an eye of death upon my face. I'll be no more his slave. Swear to advance me, And by yon setting sun, this hand and this shall rid you of a tyrant.
By my birth, no Spaniard's honoured place shall equal thine.
I'll kill him then.
And Balthazar?
And he.
I pray thee, first fetch Philip and Hortenzo out of that hell. They too will be most glad to aid thee in this execution.
My lord Filippo and Hortenzo, woo, rise, your hands. So, talk to her. At my return, this sword shall reek with blood of Balthazar.
Exit Zarack.
3 curses, like 3 commendations to their souls, I send. Thy tortured brother does curse the cardinal, the Moor, thy mother.
Curse not at all. Dear souls, revenge is hot and boils in Zarack's brains. The plot is cast into the mould of hell. You 3 men are. Zarack will kill the Moor and Balthazar.
How can that relish?
I'll tell you how. I did profess, aye, and protested too, I loved him well. What will not sorrow do? Then he professed, aye, and protested too, to kill them both. What will not devils do?
Then I profess I and protested too that here's for him. What will not Philip do?
See where he comes.
Enter the 2 Moors. Zarack! What do I see? Hortenzo and Filippo. Who did this?
I, Balthazar.
Thou art half damned for it. Not to my lord.
I'll stop you on your way. Lie there. Thy tongue shall tell no tales today.
And Zarack stabs Balthazar.
Nor thine tomorrow. This revenge was well.
And Philip stabs Zarack.
By this time both the slaves shall shake hands in hell.
Filippo and Hortenzo, stand you still? What, don't you both? Cannot you see your play? Well, fair a woman then to lead the way. Once rob the dead, put the Moor's habits on and paint your faces with the oil of hell. So, waiting on the tyrant.
Come, no more. 'Tis here and here. Room there below. Stand wide, bury them well, since they so godly died.
Away then, fate. Now let revenge be placed.
Here.
And here, a tyrant's blood doth sweetly taste.
And they exit to black up. Yeah, that's just when you thought that the play couldn't get any worse. Yeah, it's sort of like just yeah. Wow. Any the original production, of course. They would have just killed characters who were also blacked up because they would have been white actors anyway. And yeah, it's yeah. We know in the conventional theatre just putting on a hood means you're invisible and unrecognisable, so yeah. Oh well. Apart from that, Isabella is late to the action. She had about 4 lines in Act 1 and then we never saw her again. Turns out to be, really on it. Talks Zarack round. Admittedly, Eleazar clearly just keeps hitting him a lot. So, and there's a sort of hit cue at the end of his speech there. So that Zarack pulls everyone out of the pit and releases them, and in an entirely plausible turnaround of action. Yeah. Sarah.
I am loving Isabella and her agency. I just put in the chat that I can't think of an early modern tragedy that I've read where there's a character called Isabella who survives. Isabellas always end up dead, and I'm really, really hoping this one doesn't, because she's great. She's just swung in the final act. We were talking yesterday about how disappointing it was that the Queen Mother didn't have more agency. Well, she seemed as if she was going to at the beginning, and then it all kind of petered out. But here we have a woman swooping in, and wouldn't you know it, she's just as good at plotting as the guys are. And so Yeah, I'm very conflicted about this scene because on the one hand, and then on the other hand, Isabella. She's just great. I love her.
Yeah, it's just going, Philip, Hortenzo, what are you doing? Clearly, you're supposed to get into the costume and of these these two chaps and go and get some paint your faces with the oil of hell. Yeah.
Yeah, oil of hell. I'm sure I've got some of that in the cupboard.
It's always on sale. They clearly don't shift very much of it, and you think you shouldn't buy it, but you do anyway, and it just sits in the cupboard.
I gotta say, I kind of miss Zarack and Balthazar. Like, the comedy friars were a wonderful double act, and then the sort of they were counterbalanced by the more scurrilous double act of Zarack and Balthazar, who we saw taking such delight in making terrible music to drive the prisoners mad.
Yeah, and considering that they killed the friars, they were the snipers. It's sort of. Otherwise, I'd say they're perfect doubling, but they really can't because you can't. They'd have to get the makeup off, so they clearly can't be doubled. Yeah, it's that.
I was wondering if they were playing in masks.
I don't know. I think there are opinions on that. I think generally the doubling schemes for these things suggest that although it's not necessary, that it's a make-up thing. But I don't know what opinions think. And let's put it, we don't need to know this because we're not doing that. In whatever shape or form this play goes out, we're so not going there. So yeah, awkward turtle. Right, let us move on to Act 5, Scene 6. So I don't know if the stage is completely cleared or whether some of those people are still on. But anyway, we have the entrance of Eleazar, Alvero, Roderigo, Christofero, and other lords.
What? I in prison? Who?
Philip and Hortenzo.
Philip and Hortenzo.
Why laughs the Moor?
I laugh because you jest. Laugh at a jest. Who? I imprison them. I prize their lives with weights, their necks with chains, their hands with manacles. Do I all this? Because my face is in night's color dyed? Think you my conscience and soul is so? Black faces may have hearts as white as snow. And 'tis a general rule in moral schools, the whitest faces have the blackest souls.
But touching my Hortenzo?
Good old man. I never touched him. Do not touch me then with thy Hortenzo.
Where's Philip, too?
And where is Philip, too? I pray, is Philip a tame Spaniard? What, can I Philip him hither make him fly? First, where's Hortenzo? Where's Philip, too?
And where is Isabel? She was with you.
And where is Isabel? She was with me.
Enter Philip and Hortenzo like Moors.
And so are you. Yet are you well, you see, but in good time. See where their keepers come. Come hither, Zarack. Balthazar, come hither, Zarack. Old Lord Alvero asks of thee where young Hortenzo is.
My lord set free.
Oh, is he so? Come hither, Balthazar. Lord Christofero here would ask of thee where Prince Filippo is.
My lord set free.
Oh, is he so? Roderigo asketh me for Isabel.
I say, my lord, she's free.
Oh, is she so?
Believe me, lords.
And me?
I set Filippo.
I, Hortenzo, free.
My lords, because you shall believe me too, go to the castle. I will follow you.
Thanks to the mighty Moor, and for his fame be more in honour than thou art in name. But let me wish the other prisoners well, the Queen and Cardinal. Let all have right. Let law absolve them, or dissolve them quite.
Grave man, thy grey hairs paint out gravity. thy counsel's wisdom, thy wit policy. There let us meet, and with a general brain erect the peace of spirit and of Spain.
Then will Spain flourish.
Aye, when it is mine.
O heavenly meeting,
We must part in hell.
true peace of joy.
Exeunt remaining Eleazar, Philip, and Hortenzo.
'Tis a dissembling knell. Farewell, my lords. Meet there. So.
Draws his rapier.
Now, tragedy, thou minion of the night, Rhamnusia's pew fellow, to thee I'll sing upon a harp made of dead Spanish bones, the proudest instrument the world affords. When thou in crimson jollity shalt bathe thy limbs, as black as mine, in springs of blood still gushing from the conduit head of Spain, to thee, that never blushest, though thy cheeks are full of blood, O saint revenge, to thee I consecrate my murders, all my stabs, my bloody labors, tortures, stratagems, the volume of all wounds that wound from me. Mine is the stage, thine is the tragedy. Where am I now? At the prison, true. Zarack and Balthazar, come hither. See, survey my library, my study. Whilst you two sleep, marry, 'tis villainy. Here's a good book, Zarack, behold it well. It's deeply written, for 'twas made in hell. Now, Balthazar, a better book for thee, but for myself, this, the best of all. And therefore do I claim it every day, for fear the readers steal the art away. Where thou standst now, there must Hortenzo hang, like Tantalus in a maw-eating pang. There, Balthazar, must Prince Philip stand, like damned Prometheus, and to act his part, shall have a dagger sticking at his heart. But in my room I'll set the cardinal, and he shall preach repentance to them all.
Damnation tickles him. He laughs again. Philip must stand there and bleed to death. Wild villain! Ha! I only laugh to see that we shall live to outlaugh him and thee.
Fit. Stay. A rare jest, rare jest. Zarack, suppose thou art Hortenzo now. I pray thee stand in passion of a pang, to see, by thee, how quaintly he would hang.
I am Hortenzo, tut, fear not, man. That looks like Zarack.
Aye, Hortenzo, he shall hang here, i' faith. Come, Zarack, come. And, Balthazar, take thou Filippo's room. First let me see you placed.
We're placed.
Slaves. You are but players. That must end the play. How like Hortenzo and Filippo? Stand my two slaves. Were they as black as you? Well, Zarack, I'll unfix thee first of all. Thou shalt help me to play the cardinal. This iron engine on his head I'll clap, like a pope's mitre or a cardinal's cap. Then manacle his hands, as thou dost mine. So I pray thee, Zarack, set him free, that both of you may stand and laugh at me.
'Tis fine, in faith. Call in more company. Alvero, Roderigo, and the rest. Who will not laugh at Eleazar's jest?
Zarack, Balthazar.
Ah, ha, ha. Anon. We have not laughed enough. It's but begun.
Knocking on the door.
Who knocks?
Unmanacle my hands, I say.
Then we shall mar our mirth and spoil the play.
Knocking again.
Who knocks?
Alvero.
Oh, let Alvero in.
And let me out.
And enter all below.
I thank you for that flout to let Alvero in and let you out.
Villains, slaves, am I not your lord, the Moor, and Eleazar?
And the devil of hell, and more than that, an Eleazar too.
And, devil's dam, what do I hear with you?
My tongue shall torture thee.
I know thee then. All women's tongues are tortures unto men.
Spaniards, this was the villain. This is he who, through enticements of alluring lust and glory, which makes silly women proud and men malicious, did incense my spirit beyond the limits of a woman's mind to wrong myself and that Lord Cardinal, and that which sticks more near unto my blood, he that was nearest to my blood, my son, to dispossess him of his right by wrong. Oh, that I might embrace him on this breast which did enclose him when he first was born. No greater happiness can heaven shower upon me than to circle in these arms of mine that son, whose royal blood I did defame, to crown with honour an ambitious Moor.
Thus then thy happiness is complete.
And embraces her.
Behold thy Philip ransomed from that prison in which the Moor had cloistered him.
And here's Hortenzo.
Then am I betrayed and cozened in my own designs. I did contrive their ruin, but their subtle policy hath blasted my ambitious thoughts. Villains! Where's Zarack? Where's Balthazar? What have you done with them?
They're gone to Pluto's kingdom to provide a place for thee and to attend thee there. But lest they should be tired with too long expecting hopes, come, brave spirits of Spain. This is the Moor, the actor of these evils. Thus thrust him down to act among devils.
And Philip stabs him.
And am I thus dispatched? Had I but breathed the space of 1 hour longer, I would have fully acted my revenge. But oh, now pallid death bids me prepare, and haste to Sharon for to be his fair. Come, I come, but ere my glasses run, I'll curse you all, and, cursing, end my life. Mayst thou, lascivious queen, whose damned charms bewitched me to the circle of thy arms, unpitied die, consumed with loathed lust, which thy venereous mind hath basely nursed. And for you, Philip, may your days be long, but clouded with perpetual misery. May thou, Hortenzo, and thy Isabella be fetched alive by furies into hell, there to be damned forever. I faint. Devils, come claim your right, and when I am confined within your kingdom, then shall I out-tact you all in perfect villainy.
And Eleazar dies.
Take down his body, while his blood streams forth. His acts are past, and our last act is done. Now do I challenge my hereditary right to the royal Spanish throne, usurped by him in which in all your sight I thus do plant myself. Lord Cardinal, and you, the Queen, my mother, I pardon all those crimes you have committed.
I'll now repose myself in peaceful rest, and fly unto some solitary residence, where I'll spin out the remnant of my life, in true contrition for my past offences.
And now, Hortenzo, to close up your wound, I here contract my sister unto thee, with comic joy to end a tragedy. And for the barbarous Moor and his black train, let all the Moors be banished thus from Spain.
Yes, so the happy ending is ethnic cleansing! No! No, it's like, we kept saying, can this get worse? Yeah, it can. Yeah, it can. And the Queen Mother at the end saying, "I will now go away from my wicked ways and in true contrition." And I'm going, yeah, right.
I believe her.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's go for the positives. Eleazar cosplaying his murder plans, chaining himself up, getting it gets quite kinky, and hoisted up presumably. I mean, there are no stage directions for a lot of this. You have to sort of infer it that he is hoisted up in chains so that he's sort of hanging there like a not very happy pinata or something, and they stab him, and he's just sort of left hanging there. But gets to do a long, lengthy speech in what must be a really uncomfortable position for an actor. Yeah. So, yeah, and then that's the happy ending that we get. That's the happy ending. Yeah. I mean, there's so much good stuff. It's just mixed in with so much awfulness. Can we disentangle this mess? Can we? Is it possible? What can we do? Rachael.
I want an alternate ending. I want him to win. I wanted everybody to go down. I wanted this to be. I totally thought that he saw through their disguise, because what would undermine the disguise that nobody sees ever in an early modern drama, but that he gets that they're obviously not Zarack and Balthazar, and they look nothing like them. And instead of putting himself in chains, puts one of them in chains and stabs one of them, and then turns around and stabs the other.
Yeah. Yes, guys. Do you think I didn't notice that you were doing something really, really offensive there with your disguising? So I'm going to just kill you now. That's not a bad ending. I mean, this final scene does address the issue Liza had earlier when talking about. Eleazar is not really trying. There's no resistance from anyone, and that's because he's done all this in secret. This is his super secret, sexy murder dungeon or something, and everyone's sort of going, so where's Hortenzo and everyone? Where's all the prisoners and where is everyone? And he's going, well, no, I freed them, didn't I? I freed them. Yeah, no, definitely freedom, mate, freedom. A bit of freedom happened, and he even. Does a bit where he basically says, well, I'm sorry, are you saying that I'm going to just do evil things because of my race? Are you racially profiling me? Which is, again, it's like there's a moment where you go, oh, that's almost something we could do something with, and then it doesn't, and it just goes awful. Yeah. I mean, you could just have them all killed. They should just go into the pit. Big flames come out of the pit. That's the end of the play. I mean, that would just be another way of doing it. Sarah.
I mean, that's kind of where I was expecting the play to end. Like, I was fully expecting everybody to die. And yeah, I suppose I was expecting Eleazar to die too, but I was expecting him to take everyone else out first, apart from maybe one person who would just then, do him in. And yet again, this play has defied my expectations. It's like you expect this sort of play to end with the bodies all over the floor, and in fact we've only got one body. So it has just that's a positive, because it has just continually defied expectations all the way through. But then on the other hand, I mean, that final scene where they chain him up, I know it's like 80 years hence after this, but like I can't help but think of Orinoco, and it's like, oh my God, that is just so horrific. And I mean, you absolutely could not. Well, I don't know. Maybe someone like you keep saying, Rob, someone who actually, is gonna adapt or direct this could find a way to do it. But it would just, I don't know. Me personally, I'm not an expert, but I don't know how you could stage that without just the most horrific, echoes of lynching. And it would just be horrendous. So I think you just I don't know what you do with the end. I've no idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or with, I mean, there's just, it's a sort of coup de grace of all of the ongoing problems with the text. I mean, in a sense, I mean, you could, I suppose, go through it and just fill it the way that it and just completely reframe everything. But it's just, at what point do you have a play left? Because it is baked in. It's all the way there. All the way through. I mean, I say it might be that someone could reframe it, and a company could find a way of making this into a form of modern political theatre. But I don't see that you could do it any other way, and you can't just present this play. You can't just whack it on stage and just say, context. Just saying context doesn't really wash at all. So yeah. But we must save the friars. Got to use those friars somewhere.
Save them, and save Zarack and Balthazar.
No, I don't mean save them. I mean save the scenes. Just like the scenes. And I'm quite happy that the important thing is the friars die. It's just they die, and it's quite cool.
I still think that death could have been better set up. It read like the writer couldn't be arsed to write any more dialogue and just.
No, I think it came out so unexpectedly, and even though it was set up, and I think that was actually a work of genius. Or not, who knows? Not quite sure where to go around the room for final thoughts on that one. I mean, do we have anything extra to say? Because it isn't often that we hit a text where we just go, there's just I don't see a way in here. That and in a sense, we are not the room to be discussing a way in. Actually, that's the other thing, is that by the nature of random chance and the text we get, we're just working through everything and with whoever's in the room. Looking at this in a totally different perspective would be where we go next, and with a very different team of people. But Greg, you were waving, and then Rachel.
I mean, I'm late to the party as usual. I mean, Philip was great fun. Channeling, as you said, he was Scrappy Doo in Extreme. But oh my God, I can see why this has caused some interesting conversations the last couple of days. I mean, it's a great play, but I'm confused about the fate of some characters, even. I mean, Isabella just seems to drop off at the end. It's like she's married off. And that's all. Right. And it's like, well, but wait a minute, she was made heir to the kingdom about 10 minutes ago. I don't know. Maybe I'm just lost and a little tired. But, yeah, messy play. I'd be interested to see how this compares to the text that was first ever performed. I think it probably got worse from the original onwards, but and actually interesting to know that it was nice to hear that it was it the Rose you said?
Originally, yes. We have mentions in Henslow's diary. That's why we know who wrote it.
Oh, good old Henslow's diary. Yeah, no, it's nice, and it's good. It's nice to hear. It's nice to do a play where I know, not know, but something that you sort of know the theatre it was performed in, so you can imagine it better. I'm sure we've had that for others, but it's the first time we've actually said, it was a specific theatre. But no, really nice. apart from the fact that for characters wise, I mean, Philip was a fun one, but bad taste in the mouth.
Yeah. Rachel.
No, yeah, I mean, this play all the way through is been difficult and complicated and weird, mostly because the story is good, but there's so much of the racism. And also, like, I love Eleazar, which is why I think it's that I'm, really sad and disappointed about that, because it's not like, I have no idea how anyone would really put it on, or like how somebody would do that. But I'm just so, like, the amount of like psychic damage I have had to take from like this play, and then to have this end with like the moral precepts, or like the way that we would end a morality play. I wanted more depth, like, even if this is a Spanish tragedy, there's, I expected more blood. More blood, more people dead, especially because they said so much crap that I think a modern audience would, not think they're the best people for.
Yeah, it does feel like we have this the precedent set by patient Grisel, which is we're all sitting there at the end just going, kill him, kill, just die, just die. Because I think we were talking about, Greg was saying, Philip's this fascinating character, and in a sense he is, but he's awful as well. I mean, he's just this appalling human being. God, keep him away from everyone. Most of them are just appalling human beings. But yeah, tonally we have this weird shift as well. Alvero, who's just constantly crying. He's just really sad, it's like it, and what's going on there? And it's frustrating to say, because it is very well structured as a story. It's as a thriller. It's got all the pieces in place, and then just everything else. Any other final thoughts? I'm not gonna force you to make a final thought. If you have one, throw it in, Liza.
Yeah, I mean, I was convinced that the Queen Mother would be among the dead. I thought she would certainly die for her sins, and given that Eleazar pretty much wanted to kill her from scene one, I think, well done her for surviving. I agree with you that Philip is going to be a terrible monarch. Eleazar was way smarter. Like, if he was a terrible person and he murdered lots of people, but if they'd left him on the throne, he might have done better for Spain than Philip will do. As it is, Philip should definitely abdicate in favor of Isabel, who appears to be the only one of those siblings with even one brain cell. But she's going to marry Hortenzo. Is Hortenzo king of Portugal, or am I...
I can't remember. He was some guy.
Yeah.
No,
Anyway,
Emmanuel was king of Portugal.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So, whoever Hortenzo is, he better have a kingdom to offer her, because she's going to clearly be the next empress of everything.
Yeah. Hortenzo was the son to Alvero, apparently.
Ah, goodness.
Technically, therefore, an in-law of Eleazar.
Great. So poor old Isabel is now doomed to just be the wife of basically a minor noble. But given that she didn't have to marry Eleazar, that's who she loathed, that's probably a good thing. But yeah, I'm sharing everyone's frustration with this play. There is so much in this play that is fun. There's so much in this play that's so theatrical, and it's so fucking problematic that we can't stage it, because it's horrifyingly racist, probably even for its time. And there are so many of its tropes that tie into contemporary racism as well. This play is very frustrating for that reason.
Any other final thoughts to throw into the mix? I say this is one of those frustrating points for me. We're going to say, well, we're going to do everything, and it's like, there aren't many where we hit the buffers and we just go, but yeah, But maybe someone out there has using elements or parts of this. There are bits. Maybe it could be used as a piece to look at those issues. Maybe there's something that could come out of the ashes of this particular firestorm. We shall see. But I think at this stage, when sort of having hit the brakes, I will close the session. It's been a journey. All that remains is to thank all the wonderful readers for all their wonderful reading. Thank you very much, and goodbye. The saucy slave shall die.